Good afternoon, welcome to our Midday Mull for Thursday the 1st of October. And just thinking the 1st of October, the beginning of another month, COVID is still very much part of our lives, regulating things, restricting things, directing things. The Anglican Church, we only just this month beginning to open up for contact services here, and it's been a long haul. Way back 6 and more months ago, middle of March, we entered lockdown, we were stopping services. And back then people thought, well, maybe we can be open by Easter, which is the middle of April, more than a month away. One smiles at the naivety of it back then, but that's what we thought, many people. And some of us skeptics said, I doubt we'll be open by Easter. We probably won't even be open by sort of three weeks after Easter. And some people thought, well, maybe Pentecost came and went. And the days have come and gone, and the weeks and the months, and we're still in some measure of lockdown. Admittedly, it's a whole lot better than it was, but we're still a long way from what would be normal. And we look around the world and we see parts of Europe and that going back into lockdown, and we think, where is this going? And as we look at this dragging on, I'm struck by Ezekiel recording, beginning of chapter 20, he records the following. He starts and says, in the 7th year, in the 5th month, on the 10th day, some of the elders of Israel came to inquire of the Lord, and they sat down in front of me. The 7th year, this was the year of the exile, and he was recording the details of the dates. He knew the month and the day. And we go back to the beginning of his ministry in chapter 1, he records in verse 2, on the 5th of the month, it was the 5th year of the exile of King Jehoiakim. The word of the Lord came to Ezekiel. So he'd been in ministry now for 2 years already, and that was ongoing. And it just struck me that time passing is part of our life and part of God's involvement. And Ezekiel would record those dates. He was in a real life situation with each passing day, and becoming weeks, becoming months, becoming years, and God was still working with him, and he could still see God's hand there, and God working his purpose out in their situation. And that's the challenge we need to face as we enter another month and head into October with COVID lockdown still part of it, of our lives, and we still have our masks, and we still are restricted in what we can do. And we need to remember that God is not surprised, God is not distracted, God is not wrong-footed or taken off guard. This all fits into his great scheme of things and his plan for our lives. And so we may be frustrated, we may be perplexed, but our faith says God is still in control. And even though the time might seem to be dragging, God is not surprised. So be encouraged that whatever your experience of the new month of lockdown is, God is with you in it, and he's working his purposes out. Be blessed.